Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the HardBody Chronicle. I apologize for the delay in getting this out there, but I was actually out of town for about a week. Um, kind of random, but the reason being was because of all the craziness that's been going on around my neighborhood, um, around the CHOP area, essentially in front of the police precinct, 2 blocks away from my place. So uh, the protests are getting pretty bad. Uh, maybe 2.5, 3 weeks ago, they're getting really bad, fairly violent. The cops were shooting off tear gas, rubber bullets, flashbangs. It happened for about, I want to say, almost 5 nights in a row. So, and like at 2 in the morning. So it was pretty wild. It was hard to sleep. Um, yeah, you never really knew if things were going to get bad or not. Uh, one night in particular, it was warm. I had all the windows open, and the fucking cops, you know, I think a day after they had banned tear gas, somehow they launched tear gas again into the crowds protesting. And I'm pretty far away. I say I'm about 2 big blocks away from where all the protests are happening, and that shit got into my unit, and it's pretty annoying. Like I can only imagine how bad it is in person, but even from all the way over here, the little bit that I got, my eyes are watering and itchy. Um, just felt itchiness in the back of my throat. Just really uncomfortable. So yeah, I mean, having to put up with that shit and then trying to work the next day from home, it's not a good mix. So uh, during a meeting with my boss, I was having my one-on-ones like I normally do. I just kind of randomly said, if I could get away, I totally would. I just don't know where. And she, picked up on it and said, "Hey, if you can find somewhere to go, um, let me know, and I'll be flexible with you if you want to take some time to get away." So I did just that. I ended up going to see some of my gamer friends down in Texas, DFW/Richardson area. I flew standby, so that was cheap. And then I got hooked up with a hotel down there, so I think I only ended up paying about 2 nights or so. And really, just the biggest thing was to get away from all the craziness. I hadn't been sleeping. Um, I didn't really think things were gonna get too out of hand, but you never know. I just saw that kind of always having in the back of my mind. Uh, I'm not. I wasn't concerned that anyone would come up to my place and start shit. It's just that, um, you don't like seeing protesters get shot with rubber bullets and tear gas, and then hearing that shit all night long. It's unsettling, and to me, it's really unnecessary. I think a lot of that could have been prevented. Uh, it seems like the cops are just looking for any sort of excuse to use their toys. And just there's tons of footage out there. You've probably already seen it, but it doesn't take much to provoke them to start shooting rubber bullets at your face, even though you're technically supposed to bounce them off the ground. But I think they just uh, spray and pray, and um, those can those are almost deadly if you hit the person in the right area. So I mean, the pictures I've seen of those, taking a hit to the face is pretty bad. So again, so I had to get out because it was just I couldn't sleep. I couldn't really work. I was pretty much a fucking zombie the whole day. So really not being very productive. Um, So yeah, I was down there for about Wednesday to Wednesday. Yeah, so gone the entire week, and I actually worked from the hotel. So uh, uh, yeah, so it was interesting. Um, the area that I was at, the main reason I was there is because there's this arcade called Free Play Arcade, and I happen to have friends that are from that area, so they go to that arcade, and it has a lot of Street Fighter, a lot of retro games. Street Fighter is one of the big ones they have there, and a bunch of other stuff from the 80s and 90s. So people my age can find games from their childhood, and that's pretty cool. And the machines are well maintained. So shout out to Free Play down in Richardson. Um, so the timing was just weird, or it was good, I guess, because I guess the weekend that I was there, bars and restaurants had opened up in Texas, so I got to go to to like a restaurant, and then we got to go to restaurants, and I got to go to the arcade and play games with a mask, obviously, but it was just kind of odd considering how Seattle still kind of phase one, 1.5 at that time. Uh, Things weren't really open, whereas down there, it just seems like once the bars and restaurants opened, everything else just opened up. As long as you wore a mask, I guess it was all good. But yeah, traveling during this time is kind of interesting. The middle seats in the airplanes are, no one, they're not sold, so everyone has one person or one seat gap between them. They're not serving food. I think only if you're in first class do you get food or some kind of snack, but it's really minimal compared to how it used to be. You can't even buy food if you wanted to, so that's kind of interesting. Now you're kind of screwed. You have to buy food before you get on the plane and go from there. So yeah, so being down in Richardson, it was just I didn't have a car or anything. I just wait for friends to pick me up and take me somewhere for dinner or bring me stuff. But it was I did get some much needed rest. I think I was definitely being burned out, and even though I wasn't doing much down there. I was just hanging out pretty much, and then whoever was free, I'd hang out with them. And there was a few people that I didn't get to hang out just because it's hard to schedule this stuff, especially when it's so um, just out of the blue, I guess you could say. So next time I'll do a better job of coordinating. But yeah, I mean it was chill. The hotel was nice, and I just got to sleep in a lot. Caught up in sleep. It's the whole area is very suburban. So I mean you have to Texas itself is just super spread out. You can't walk anywhere. So I was stuck at the hotel pretty much. I could only walk outside at night just to get some air. But if I wanted to get anywhere, it's at least a mile, 2 miles to get to anything. So you definitely have to drive. So it kind of, even though I was limited, I kind of liked not really having any obligations to go anywhere. Like, I I had an excuse to be lazy, and that was nice because when you only have a certain amount of options of things to do, it's easy to make a choice. So um, just veg out for a bit, watch TV, um, something I don't normally do, and um, yeah, just lay around. And it was nice. I was really appreciative of that opportunity to stay there. So um, yeah, but Texas is just driving when I'm driving around there. It's like there's so much land. It's insane. Like there's like acres and acres of land between um, when you drive around, it's just like there's a mall here, and then there's like a mile of nothing, and then downtown area, and then uh, more nothingness, and then neighborhoods, and there's like a park. It's huge. It looks like a national park or some state park. So yeah, I mean it's just different down there, and But it was chill because the people are nice. I think that's the thing that I like about Texas. Um, the only thing I like about Texas, to be honest, free play arcade, the people, everything else is questionable, and I hate the Dallas Cowboys. So, um, yeah, imagine. I don't think I'm the favorite person down there because I hate that fucking team. But yeah, I mean, it was just chill, just to be kind of not have any obligations. Just I would work. Once I clocked out, I mean, that was it. I was just chill and then hang out for a little bit, and then just enjoy the AC, go outside at night, walk around. I mean, if you're a fatty like me, any restaurant chain that you would probably like is down there, and there's a lot of them. Like they repeat, like after like every 3 miles, it's the same shit, tons of it, over and over. Whatever you want, whatever shitty food you want to eat, you can find. My favorite down there is Whataburger. Um, well, no, it's just solid. I think it's nothing fancy, um, but I really enjoyed it. I think to me, it's just the size of the burger is pretty good, and then the throw in chopped onion, raw onion. To me, that's all I need. So I'm good to go with that. Um, and it's just funny because every time I go down there, um, like a medium drink is like this big. It's like an extra large over here in Seattle. So it's just funny seeing that kind of thing. Um, I mean, you wonder why everyone down there is diabetic. I mean, look at the portion size. So um, yeah, I can't hate on it though. I mean, it's cool. You get a shit ton of food. So you just got to be careful with how much you eat because you won't go hungry down there for sure. And things are cheaper. Um, yeah, I bought people lunch or dinner and whatnot, and it's like, man, like that'd be I could feed 4 people down there for what I can feed 2 people up here in Seattle. So yeah, it's cheap down there, plenty of land. Um, Not bad if you wanted to uproot and go somewhere to get some space. Maybe buy a house with a lot of land, do whatever the fuck it is you want to do on it. I mean, to me, that's cool. That's um, part of me has always maybe wanted to get away from everything. Like either I'm in the city or I'm not. Right? Like I don't want an in between. Like I don't want to live in a suburb. Like I want to be either all in or just far away from everything. Because to me, I don't like being in between things. So um, Texas, I could definitely see that being a place where you could set up shop and have a lot of land, build your compound however you want. So yeah, it's got its perks. So it was cool. It's just insanely hot. I don't know. Um, and the thing is, for me, like um, I get cold if it's AC. So like I'm wearing like outerwear jeans and like a long sleeve, even though like, it's 100 degrees outside. But you get in the car, there's AC. You go somewhere that has the AC full blast. It's just weird, and I don't like being cold. So um, I would just dress like I would dress in Seattle down there, and I was fine for the most part. Because you don't do anything outdoors unless it's evening time, like 8 o'clock or so. And then it's actually really nice because it's warm, but there's this nice little breeze. Um, Reminds me kind of Mexico, not as humid, but the same concept where it's still warm, but as long as there's a breeze, it's fine. You can go anywhere, and it's to me that's really relaxing. So I very much enjoy that down there. So yeah, I mean I came back well rested, um, but that weekend that I came back, things got actually worse at the chop. It was in terms of noise, it went down because the cops pussed out, left the precinct, and so now the protesters, the chop protesters, are essentially camping. They camp out right in front of the precinct, and how long they'll be there, I don't know. But they've pushed back some of the barriers. So I think they're trying to let cars through. But to be honest, I've only walked through it a few times. I've rode past it a few times, but I try to stay away just because I don't know. It's hard to tell what the fuck's going on a lot of the time, and I'm usually out at night, so I actually try to avoid the area because the weekend that I got back is when the shooting started. So um, yeah, that first Friday, Saturday morning, early Saturday morning, um, one person actually died. I don't know, and the thing is, I heard a gunshot. Like the thing is, and that's the thing. There's fireworks and gunshots going off, and it's hard to tell. So that's like super. It just creates a lot of anxiety. And it's like, man, what the fuck? Like, what's going on? But that was the first shooting for that weekend, and that person died. Um, the details are still kind of unclear. I'm not sure why it's happened, but seems like there might have been some kind of altercation. And since the cops aren't going in, I think people just kind of take advantage of it being somewhat of a lawless area, which is unfortunate because it just fucks up the whole message of what the chop is supposed to be. So, um, how you prevent that, I don't know, but um, yeah. So unfortunately, a kid got shot. I think it was like 17. Yeah. So, and then the next night, that Saturday, Sunday night. Again, it was warm. It's been muggy, so I have the windows open, and I stay up late because I don't know like there's so much noise around here. It's really hard to go to sleep early anyway. So I've just been staying up later than normal. But yeah, but then I'm just chilling. I think I'm watching TV or something or gaming, and then I hear like pop, 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 like 6 shots, and right away I knew like that is not a fucking firework. Like if you've spent any time in a gun range, you've heard it. It sounded like a rifle almost. And so I hear that and I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck? And I get up and I get up to go to the window and see what I can hear, and then I hear people screaming, and then I hear some guy say, "Get the license plate! Get the license plate!" And then I hear like tires screeching. So, and then I get on my computer and I check out the police scanner right then and there, and I guess it was a blue van that just pulled up and just randomly shot people. But again, like I don't know. I just don't see the logic. Like, are you trying to scare people or are you trying to actually hurt people? I don't know because 2 people got hit in that situation. I don't think anyone died, but um, like, what the fuck? Like, what? I don't get it. I just don't see the point of shooting randomly at people. Like, if you have an issue with them, go man the fuck up and go talk about it, right? But again, I don't know if it's like a target thing. I don't know if they're trying to scare people. It's just hard to say. Um, and that one was pretty disturbing because it's like, man, like I'm on the second floor, so a straight bullet, it'd be, excuse me, it'd be, you'd have to try to get me up here. So, like people on the ground level, I mean, that shit sucks, right? Like, so I don't know, like it's just a lot of confusion and uncertainty going on. So that was probably the worst one of that night. And then Sunday, Monday morning, that same, well, it's just going forward. It's been like 3 days already of this shit. 4:30 in the morning, I hear a gunshot. Monday morning, and I was super close. I'm like, man, what the fuck? And then the weird thing is, though, I didn't hear anything. I don't know. Maybe I was just kind of dozing. Like I got up, but I was still kind of sleepy, I guess, and maybe I wasn't paying as much attention as I normally would. But I didn't hear anything, so I just like, oh, fuck it, I'll just go back to sleep. And later that morning, I come to find that some dude got shot, and like right down there on the corner, an ambulance picked him up. And then the weird thing about that too is that no one knows what happened, and the guy who got shot wouldn't explain what had happened to him. So it's like, yeah. So that's the kind of stuff that I've been seeing and hearing around here. I've also noticed like random fires uh, in the park at night, like a bonfire type situation. And again, the cops aren't coming in, so they know they can just do whatever they want. So yeah, that's the stuff that I see on my end. So I'm on the south end of Cal Anderson Park, and then on the no, my bad, I'm on the north end, and then on the south end, like which is like the other half of the park, there's a play field, like a soccer baseball field. I think all the actual protesters are over here. They're close to the play field and close to the police precinct. But the actual Cal Anderson Park is what happened is a lot of fucking transient people have set up shop, and it's just a campground essentially. So the people on my end probably don't give two shits about what's going on the other end. And that's kind of where this whole thing turns into a mess, because you don't I would say the vast majority of the people who are camping aren't doing anything for the movement regarding CHOP. So it gets super, the whole thing just gets muddled, and you don't know who's doing what, why they're here. There's a lot of cars parked out now because they're just camping out in the parking spots around here because they know police aren't coming. There's cars that are actually in the park that just drove up. And so they're camping out there. So it's just wild. I don't know what. During the day, it's fine, it's chill, but at night, I don't know what's going on. I mean, there's a lot of that homeless population. There's a lot of mental illness, drug issues that I think just clearly get worse in these kind of environments. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how. Yeah, I just my main thing is I don't want. I appreciate the protesters of the CHOP who are trying to get things changed, but with all throwing in all these other random elements just doesn't help. Um, and yeah, I'm not sure how this all ends. It's funny because if there's one place where something like this would have happened, it's definitely Seattle. I think we just got to be extra about certain things, and this is um, the fact that protesters scared police out of the precinct is pretty impressive. But just the fact that it's been going on for so long, it's been about a month already of this stuff. So the fact that it's been going on this long is really impressive to me. Um, but again, how this all ends, I don't know. Seems like there's cleanup trucks that go in early morning, like 4 or 5 in the morning, and they just pull up and they just put stuff in dump trucks and just dip out. But I don't know, like, do they come? It seems like people just coming back and setting up shop again. So I'm not entirely sure what the goal is behind that. Um, I'm sure people who aren't from Seattle are seeing this and they're like, "What the fuck?" I mean, because that'd be my reaction too. I think there was, I think they tried to do the same thing down in Portland, but that got shut down real quick. So, um, So kudos to the Seattle people for managing to pull this off for as long as they have. And like I was saying, I've only walked through it a few times. I think the second time I walked through the chop, there was a home. I was just walking kind of towards. I was on 10th. No, I was on 12th, walking towards 11th, which is where my street is. I think I went to go get some Thai food or something. uh, there's this homeless guy, clearly in distress, and he keeps saying, "The N word took my money. The N word took my money," and then, and then all the white people around were like, "Oh no!" so, so as soon as all the white people collectively sighed together at their disapproval of this guy, um, I guess Chop Security, like, they kind of roughed him up a little bit. They threw him against one of the barriers and essentially told him to calm the fuck down. Um, and again, it's some dude he's just there because people are camping out. He has nothing to do with the protests or Black Lives Matter. Like, no, he's just there hanging out because he knows that um, it's been allowed, and so that's what happens. Is just you get people, transients and whatnot. They're just there, um, and it just kind of takes away from the whole message, which is unfortunate. But yeah, so that's why I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I have some mixed feelings about the whole thing right now. Maybe maybe it was better organized, and maybe there was an actual point of contact who was leading this whole thing, because it really wasn't. It was just random people who would just show up. Whoever had a fucking loudspeaker was the one who could tell people what to do, and maybe not the best way to organize, unfortunately. So, um, and I think there's a lot of other people who are trying to, not that it's a bad thing necessarily, but they're just trying to, they've got their own um, grievances that they want solved, and it has nothing to do with Black Lives Matter. So, uh, yeah, I mean, I'm not sure what will happen. I kind of wanted to wait before doing this podcast because I was thinking maybe there'd be more going on. But right now, just I keep hearing they're going to clean it out, but they don't. They do a few things and then just they don't come back. So, um, yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I think so long as I can get some sleep, I don't really care too much. I would like to see something about the campground situation done though, because it's like I said, clearly they're not people that have anything to do with the movement, any kind of protest, any kind of group. They're just camping out because it's they haven't been kicked out. Usually, what happens is, especially in the summer when it's nice, some people do try to camp out in Cal Anderson, but cops go in and they say, "Hey, you gotta, park is closed. You gotta move," and that's the end of that. They just leave because they don't want to get into a situation with the cops. Um, but now that they're not here, it's kind of it's I wouldn't say it's entirely unsafe, but you just got to be a little more vigilant. I think I wouldn't recommend you take your walks around here if you can avoid it. Just stay away unless you really have to be in the area. Um, so yeah, that's kind of what's been going on. Um, I don't really have any other major updates. Chop has been really the big thing going on right now. Um, yeah, I'm just trying to work from home and get shit done. And that's pretty much it. So, um, yeah, and that any loud noise that I hear outside, I'm like instantly like, what the fuck? Like, that's That's not healthy. It's just like this should not be normalized in any way. Like this is not good. Um, I mean, I'm still very fortunate in my situation where I'm employed and whatnot, so I'm very blessed in general. But um, with the pandemic going on and all this craziness, it's a lot, man. It's a lot to process and try to deal with effectively. Because there's a lot of people having a really hard time with everything, just because everything's just abnormal and tense, and it's not. And things there's no outlet for like any of this, right? Like it's you got to call. You can only call. You may not be able to see people, or you can't go anywhere to fucking uh, try to get some endorphins in your system. Like there's nothing to do really. Like you can't any sort of activity that you were probably into you can't do right now just because everything's shut down. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough, and I think I just hope people get the self care that they can, whatever it is that whether it's taking a fucking nap or watching more TV, sleeping in. Just make sure you do it. Do what you can right now, because I mean, we're so limited as to what you can do, and it's very frustrating. And I could definitely see people developing maybe not PTSD, but something. Um, there will be repercussions for all this shit. Further along the line, once we get past all this, because it's just so weird, and I mean, people are still social creatures, so taking that completely away from them is challenging to try to get over that and come up with alternatives to seeing people, touching, and all that. Just the normal contact that you would have is just gone. So, um, and on top of all the fucking police brutality that's being called out, so it's just everything's just kind of thrown in your face right now. Um, just a perfect storm of shit going on. Um, and it's these are difficult things to process. So we just got to make sure you make time and create the space to heal as much as you can from it, however that may be. Um, I mean, I know even I'm probably drinking more than normal for sure. That is just to just to try to relax a little bit, it's just one little glimmer of hope. These ice cold beers. That's as sad as that sounds. That's kind of what you're stuck with. You can't necessarily go see your friends like you could and meet up and hang out like you normally could. And, I definitely miss that. I know everyone else does too. So we're all going through the same things. Um, so yeah, I think that's all I got for this week. Like I said, I'm going to try to be more consistent. I've been doing some experiments with some gear, um, testing out some inks for certain applications. So I might talk about that next time, just to mix it up a little bit, talk about the business a little more. But yeah, thanks to everyone for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. Shout outs to everyone down in Texas, Free Play Arcade. It's good seeing you guys. Good games. So yeah, take care of yourselves and take care of your families. Stay blessed. I'll catch you guys later.